have my friend Darth with me because we're checking out a new game, you guys. We're checking out Marvel Snap. What's up, Darth?
Oh, I'm having a good day. How you doing today, Leila?
I'm good. Thank you very, very much. Thank you so much for joining. Now, I know this is a newer game. I know this is one in particular I've been watching for a while. I know you have as well too. So guys, today's going to kind of be like a first impressions. We're going to be talking about things for beginners because there is currency in the game, you know, kind of like best use for currency. And basically we're just going to be kind of talking about, you know, what we think of the game so far and if we think you guys are going to like it and basically, you know, what we think of it.
First impressions.
Yes. First impressions. Now, obviously, this is different than the game you guys probably know us from, which is Raid Shadow Legends. We know that for sure. So hopefully you guys are still going to enjoy this. I know a lot of my viewers are playing this. What about you?
Actually, I think a lot of people actually are playing this game. Surprisingly, I put up just a few videos on it because I was playing it casually and I was having fun with it, and I saw a lot of people on YouTube covering the game and getting a lot of views and doing quite well. And so then it made me naturally interested as we are YouTubers. So I go to look at the game and then I was kind of shocked because the game was actually like a good game. It wasn't just one of these like, okay, it's got a lot of traction. It was actually like, it was legitimately fun. So I got roped in a little bit and probably spent too much money on the game already and started. I stopped making videos and I only made a handful of them. But I legitimately liked the game, and so I started playing it again recently when you mentioned you wanted to do this collab because I kind of forgot about it there for a few weeks, but you know, I got roped back in again.
Well, here we go. Now, my viewers, I know I've talked about this before. Initially, when I first started streaming, I streamed Hearthstone, which is Blizzard's card game, right? So I did that for about 2.5 years. And for those of you guys that don't know, the guy that developed, one of the developers for Hearthstone left, and he created Second Dinner, which is the company that made this game. So I've actually been watching this for a while, and when I saw that he had partnered with Marvel, I kind of had an idea it was going to be like a Marvel card game, which is really neat, you know what I mean? So I was already kind of excited to try it. I love comic books, I love Marvel, so like this is definitely right up my alley for sure. What do you think about for yourself?
I actually didn't know that when you told me that. I was surprised. I didn't realize it was the Hearthstone guy. You know Carmo, of course. Me and him played Hearthstone together all the way back when it was in like beta, when the highest rank you get was like platinum, 3 stars or whatever. You know, we've been playing Hearthstone since then, and we got kind of more bored of it as it went on. So when the Snap came out, it was kind of a natural fit again. It did remind me a little bit of like the ancient days of Hearthstone. Although I do have to admit, one of the things I like about this is the gameplay isn't necessarily like you have one card and you attack the other card. You know what I mean? I like that you're kind of fighting over the total power, and there's some math play kind of around claiming the land or location or whatever you really want to call it. So that part interested me a little bit too, because it's not exactly the typical card game where it's, you know, this card versus this card and, you know, you just do the math and they attack each other. There is kind of some wild combos in the game, which led it to be more interesting. Then there's the fact that the monetization isn't actually that bad either. So then you look at the game, you're like, okay, so it's not like I don't have to spend $5,000 or whatever to get these cards. I can just play with them, whatever my pool is, and it's fine. So there was a bunch of stuff that was kind of appealing that roped me in to start playing it a little bit, yeah.
Exactly. And kind of like you were saying about some of the similarities and the differences, is I know for a fact, so one of the things is these games are fast. If you guys have played card games before, like if you come from, like I said, a game like Hearthstone or something like I do, is you can easily have a game that goes a half hour longer. These games are fast. Like we're talking 3-minute games. Yeah. So when this company was interviewed, I'm not sure if you guys knew this, but they said what they did is they wanted to take out the parts of card games that people didn't necessarily like and wanted to create a game like this. So this is what we have. And talking about Hearthstone too, is one of the things people love about Hearthstone is the cards feel alive. And so when you watch like the animations in this game, like when you watch the way that the cards are played, like if I end up playing the Hulk, which might not, and I probably will just so you guys can see the animation on it, even though it's probably not the right play, is you can watch the way that they interact. Like you can see the cards are 3D, they move, they have their animations. They're just really pretty the way that they are. And that was one of the things, like I said, I'll play the Hulk just so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. But Hearthstone is very well known for that, where their cards feel alive. I've played other card games before where they feel very like 2D, like they don't have any oomph to them. But you know, like when you watch the Hulk, he like jumps up and slams down, like the whole screen shakes. Like it's really cool the way that the animations are. And hey, look at that, we won without even really too much paying attention. We're kind of just, you know, chit-chatting here.
It helps a lot to actually memorize the cards with because of those sound effects. Like one of the things with Hearthstone that helped, you know, is you hear like "time is money, friend" or whatever.
Yes.
You hear these lines, right? And so
Yep.
you're like, "Oh, I know that card. Like I know what that card does." And that kind of learning helped a lot. And so in this game, it's kind of the same thing where you see the effects. You know, I like when Deathlock goes. I know if I see the boosters, everyone's blowing up. Like I know what's happening. You know, when Amir Carnage goes off or whatever. So. Yeah, no, I agree that having kind of unique, easily definable characteristics that make cards easily recognizable are kind of key, because a lot of the times too, one of the only real progression in this game is the visual progression. There's not really like, you don't really have to like pay and level your cards or whatever, and you can never progress your cards ever if you don't want to, because it's only visual progression.
We could probably actually show that for those of you guys watching. Is I have enough to actually upgrade vision now that you're talking about it, so we could talk about it. So to Darth's point is that upgrading this is not going to give me a benefit other than the card looking pretty. You know, so that's basically what Darth's talking about. Is we see we can upgrade vision, and so we'll upgrade him. And see, now he becomes animated. And just look how pretty the card is, right? Like, they just do such a good job with these.
They do. I think that the cosmetics look pretty good. There's the variants where then that's kind of where like the not really pay to win comes in, but like pay for variants considered to sort of be the most mild version of pay to win I could think. Is that it allows you to unlock cards faster, because if you have multiple variants, when you get the orbs, you can level up the other you know, card variants a little bit sooner because they cost less at the lower levels. And so maybe technically you can get some cards a little bit faster, but the only real thing you can do with money in this game is getting credits.
And we can talk about that too. Yeah, I'll show that in a minute. And, you know, so there's this part too, is upgrading cards in this game. Not only does it make them look prettier, you know, like makes them 3D, makes them animated, gives them shiny logos, but you start working on this collection level. And what this collection level does is you see is it increases the rarity of your cards, but you actually start unlocking cards. Like if I scroll back, you're gonna see like the vision card that I just upgraded, that's where I got him. Is I got him on this track, right? We get boosters, we get cards, we end up getting credits, you know, so this gives you some rewards as well too. So me just upgrading vision the way I did gives me 10 boosters for my Killmonger card too. So basically upgrading cards gives you more cards as well. And so look, I mean, just look how cool that looks. And again, his ability, for people that don't know this, is every turn you can actually move him across the board. And that's what's kind of cool with him, is that's why he kind of has this almost, like his logo of stuff is kind of like invisible, because when you move him across the board, it's kind of like he's moving through things like a ghost. It's actually kind of cool what they do with him.
Yeah, and the different variants can look pretty good as you go through the different ranks to infinite. There's the infinite or infinity. I forget if it's infinite.
It's infinity. Yeah,
infinity. Okay, it's not infinite.
So what we'll do is, so guys, what Darth was mentioning was he was mentioning the pay aspect of the game. So let's talk about that since we're here, right? So we're in the shop. So go ahead. You know, we're talking pay stuff.
Well, it's pretty mild. There's the battle pass basically that you can buy that will come with whatever this season's card is. Like the deck that I'm using is a Black Panther one, and Black Panther was like the previous basically battle passes version, and you could buy, and you get the card for that. And I think it's like $10 basically. So if you want, you can spend the $10 on that,
which is right here, right?
Yeah, correct. And then that will unlock, you know, your rewards that come with the premium version of the Battle Pass. And you can get some more credits by buying gold bars, which is flat out money. And then you can buy more credits with the gold bars. Doesn't really help you any, realistically. I mean, other than getting the variants, which I mentioned, can maybe get you the cards a little bit sooner, just because it costs less boosters to upgrade the lower ones. So you can upgrade a bunch of lower ones instead of just only the high ones. But either way, you have to grind the orbs. So there's no way around that. Like, you can't just like buy a collection level upgrade to get more cards or whatever, because the collection level is the only way you can really arguably buy through buying credits in order to be able to buy upgrades to get higher collection level to get more cards. That's the only like logical path to purchasing more cards, and it's so unrealistic that that's not really how you do it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You just play the game, and you can buy the battle pass, and every now and then throw 20 bucks at it and really just
Mm-hmm.
buy like the variants and the cosmetics as you want. They do have some bundos which you can buy too, and I know they've added some of these bundos in since I've come back to the game, which I'm not familiar with these, but they look like they're mostly just like a little bit of they look way worse than if you just straight out bought flat gold bars, which is going to be your most
Mm-hmm.
actual efficient value. So the reality, the TLDRs, if you got zoned out and bored of that long speech that I basically gave us, there's not really a whole lot to buy other than just making your cards look cooler. Like realistically, just play the game.
Right, yeah. And I know you and I were talking about this before. So in the game, guys, there's two different types of currency pretty much. Is that you're going to see there's these blue bars, which are technically credits, then we have gold. So we talk about the best use of these is you can see like basically what I just did with Vision is you end up using credits to upgrade your cards. The other thing you can do is you can use them for fast upgrades. But do we think a fast upgrade is the most efficient use of these credits?
No, you don't want to pay for orbs basically because you can grind orbs for free just by playing the game. But you will get bottlenecked on credits because the only way to basically get free credits is by grinding the missions, etc. And eventually, the only thing you're going to get from beating battles every day is orbs, not credits. So credits are the bottleneck, aka don't spend them on orbs for the fast upgrade. Doesn't help you.
Right, gotcha. And then gold. So we talk about where you can use the gold bars in the game. And so far I've seen two places to use the gold bars. And you could probably tell me if I'm missing anything. One is if you want to get these variants, which again, to our point, it's a different look for your cards, right? And then the other thing is to actually use gold bars to buy credits, which again, you can use to upgrade your cards.
Yeah, and I think you can use the go bars also to skip tiers in the battle pass. Like if you want to go and purchase your way through the other ones in the battle pass, you can do that. It can be hyper expensive though, and it's not really ever worth it. But I did notice that is in fact an option.
Oh, here in the wait, so we're in the season pass that we're talking about here. Where can you actually do that, or is it because I'm on the free path, so you don't?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's at a certain point after the premium one you can actually buy these because I've seen it where it's like you can pay like 250 gold bars or something, unless they removed it for season 3. But I was gonna buy the silver surfer anyway, so I'll let you know because I'm gonna do it right as we speak here.
Nice, he's gonna do it as we speak, you guys. So maybe
Yeah,
it's here. I'm not sure. Maybe that's where this is after Silver
Maybe
Surfer. I'm not sure.
It could be a premium only thing. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll find out. Either way, it looks like I'm gonna have to buy it on my phone. So
Okay. And the missions that Darth was talking about, too, in case you guys missed it, is when you go to the main here, you're going to see the season pass, which is where we are here. So you're going to see for me, I'm at 41. It's starting to skip. So when I get to 43, I'm going to get 200 credits. We're at 41 right now. And this is where the missions are. So the missions, a lot of our viewers play gacha games. You guys are used to like daily quests. You guys are used to missions. You're used to things like that. So for example, it says win a location with only one card, which I did. So that gives me some rewards. Win matches. We got to do, we end up getting 150. Look, see?
yeah, it works. You can unlock with
Nice.
season pass level 19.
Okay.
Bars. So you can in fact use gold bars to skip it, but it's a terrible offer.
Yeah, I probably won't do that. That's up to you guys. But leave us some comments, guys, if you're playing and if you're doing that at all. And this is what you end up seeing. And so again, it shows all the things I've already done, but these are the missions that you're going to be doing as well too. So like I said, a lot of you guys are used to gacha games. You're used to this kind of thing anyway. You're used to seeing dailies, you're used to seeing quests and missions. And to Darth's point, that's how you guys are going to end up getting credits. That's how you guys are going to be getting up gold and trying to get yourself, just more cards. But we can hop into another game. And, the other thing that I did notice about this game, which you pointed out, is that there's 3 locations in this game. It's not linear. It's not just you against your opponent. It's not where they attack each other. You're literally fighting for locations. And I think what I like about this is it varies. So every game feels different. Even though, you might have a deck that you really like playing, every single game feels different because you don't know what's happening here. And there was a game.
There's a good assortment of cards.
Yeah.
Not only is there a lot of locations, but there's like a lot of cards already, and the game's pretty much brand new.
Right. And there was a game, I don't know if you guys remember, anybody here remember Artifact? I actually really liked Artifact. Artifact was really cool in that it had 3 lanes, and same thing, like almost similarly, you had to micromanage each lane with your cards. And so I really liked that. And so I feel like what they did here is they took the best parts of Hearthstone, the best parts of Artifact, and kind of just like merged it, which I think is neat. And then adding these variables here. These variables with the fact that each location can be different, it's going to affect how you're going to be playing the game and how you're going to be playing your cards.
Yeah, and then you add that with a bunch of variety of cards that they keep adding, and I guess we're in the series 3 now of new cards, so the game's just kind of just brand new out, and now we have the Silver Surfer Pass, etc. And every time they got new cards out, like this one's a big deal. On reveal, give your other 3 cost cards plus 3 power. I mean, you could build a whole deck around that. That's pretty nuts, in my own personal opinion.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Like
there's
the
quite
Black
a few.
Panther
Ooh,
deck
look at that.
is real good.
Look at that, guys. Okay, so what is also kind of cool too is when you haven't seen a card before, this shows up so you can see. So Juggernaut, if your opponent played cards here this turn, move them randomly. So let's see what happens. Nobody to move. Nothing happens. That's okay. But that is always kind of cool seeing stuff like that too.
Juggernaut's a pretty good card. You can use it to counter stuff like Storm, etc. if you think they're going to play that. I'm still kind of learning the game. I'm not really like that super hardcore into it. My collection level is like just about 1,300, but I've seen some of these people that have an absolute ridiculous, all the cards. It's hard to actually get some new cards. I will say that.
Right.
If you're not spending a lot of money, it can be hard when you get to the higher levels to get your hands on some new cards. I guess you can actually get them just by grinding the game, which is nice, but it takes a minute because you got to go through these collector's reserves, and then the boxes can have other things in them. It's not like they only have the new cards in them. So as you get the collector's level up there, it's like 1294 is my next one in it. But I could just have currency in it. I could just get some gold bars. I could just get some credits. So pretty much every time you get an upgrade, it's a gamble of, it's a little bit of dopamine of, am I going to get lucky? Am I not going to get lucky? So if you like that type of stuff, that's in this game too.
Yeah, which is neat. There's a lot of things in here. And so even with that, we lost that, but we still end up collecting orbs, you guys. So the thing is, losses still don't feel too bad. Like Dart's point is you just play the game. Just, pick a deck, have fun, learn it, play the game. Even if you lose, like you might lose a little bit. Like you see, I dropped from, what was it, like 40, like 39 or something like that. But we still got orbs to upgrade a card. So losses don't feel bad. And again, because the games are fast, it's kind of like, who cares? Just play. You lose, move on,
Yeah, no, fast games are nice. And then the snap system actually gives it it looks like it's kind of a shallow game, but there's actually some pretty good strategic depth in it because most of the strategy comes from knowing when to snap, when not to snap, and when to actually leave, because when you leave, you don't lose all the cubes that you would have if you didn't leave, right? So knowing your strength and position on the board, and also knowing all the other cards and what deck they're running, like what versions of the deck, so you know what cards they're going to play, so you know if you should retreat or not. Like there's a lot of reward for actually being a good player that I've noticed, which maybe I'm wrong because again I'm not in the top ranks or whatever, so I could be incorrect, but it seems to me like the game does have a pretty good amount of strategic depth from what I've been seeing. There's a lot of really good players on YouTube that I've been watching.
Yeah, no, definitely agree. And so we can actually talk about that too, since I hopped into another game. So talk about the snap feature that deals with the cube up top here. So you see right now, it's basically, 1 point. So to Darth's point, what ends up happening, what snap means is when you're in a position where you feel like you're going to win, it's kind of like you double up, right? So you can actually end up with 4. I think you can end up with 4 points. Or if you feel like you're going to lose, then you retreat, and then you don't end up losing everything. You think you'll end up losing like 1 instead, right?
You end up losing like half. So basically what can happen is you can lose half if you retreat, or you lose the full amount that would have happened at the end of the turn if you don't retreat at the end of the turn. So if both people snap, it's a total of 8. If no one snaps, it's a total of 2. But if one person snaps, it's 4 basically, and then you can cut that in half with a retreat. So because of that, you can basically retreat like 4 times to 1 good double snap victory.
Right.
So it can skew your win rate to not needing to be as high as, in like professional League of Legends games, etc. Like if you have a 52-53% win rate after thousands of games, like you're really good and you're going to be in the top ranks. Whereas in this game, like you could have a lower win rate and still actually climb if you're good with the snapping.
Yeah, if you figure out how to do that, like you said, if you're good at knowing when to do it is the thing, right?
Correct.
So let's see how we're doing. We'll do that and we'll see what happens. So I think what that looks like is, did they snap? I think they did.
Yeah, it will have the big, you know, ring around in the cube will kind of explode for a little bit. And there's a really big snap sound effect. I like the announcer. You know, the announcer's pretty good in the game. They have a lot of high energy, you know, high energy music, high energy announcer. The animations are pretty well done. It's a very smooth game.
I agree. Yep, definitely. So that was 4 points there. So what ended up happening was our opponent snapped and lost. So they thought they were going to win and lost. So I ended up getting the points instead. So again, to Darth's point, it's the strategy, right? So they ended up losing and I ended up benefiting because they got a little overconfident, I guess. It happens, right? That's just part of the game. But again, like I said, losses don't feel bad. You just kind of move on, you know? So guys, you know, let us know what you think. You know, have you started playing Marvel Snap? Do you think you're going to give it a shot? You know, what has been your favorite part of the game so far if you are playing? Again, both of us have kind of been just kind of getting into it. Darth has been playing a lot more than me. That's why it was fun that when I was kind of interested in this and I knew that he kind of was, he was willing to come on and just kind of like chat and kind of just talk about first impressions. But so far I am liking it because again, guys, like I said, I have a card game background. And for me personally, I like the fast matches. I like the fast matches. I love the 3 lanes. I love the animations, the detail of the game. There's just so much to really, really, really like about it, you know?
It's a overall very likable game, and I think that shows with the fact that didn't it win Game of the Year for mobile?
It did, yeah. If you guys didn't know that, it did win Game of the Year too. So I mean, that's got to say something too.
Surprising considering it came out on the back half of the year.
Yeah, considering it's a new game, for sure. Yeah. Darth, thank you so much for joining. Guys, you know, I'm going to have Darth's details down below. I'm assuming you guys are following. If you're not, please do. Please go follow him, subscribe, you know, do all the good stuff for our buddies that I always ask you to do. And thank you so much for hanging with me today.
Of course, Leila. Till next time.
Till next time. Bye, guys. Hey, check out some more videos up here in the playlist in the top right.